Hello and welcome to It's All About You, the best show about you on the internet. I am Dave Walters, life, relationships, and spiritual coach. This is episode number 39. What am I going to call it? I think I'm going to call it Meaning. But it might be something else. But I guess you know that by now because you've already seen the screen go by at the beginning and it said what it said. So I guess all of this is irrelevant. How are you? Good? We haven't talked in a while. See, I had like a head cold type thing, and I didn't record for a couple of days because I didn't want to be all on camera, right? So I feel like we haven't talked in too long. So, you tell me what's going on with you. I'm listening. Just tell me what's up. Really? Huh. Wow. Well, cool. Thanks for letting me know that. Can you tell I'm in a good mood now? I know some of you guys were worried because I put on the blog that I had a couple of bad days. Here's the thing. I only have good days. It's just some days are less good than other days. So when you're reading it, it may seem like I was like laying on the couch crying, but it wasn't really like that. It was just, instead of being at like a 10 where I normally am, which I go up to a 12, I was at like an 8. Which is still pretty good relative to most people. Which is exactly what I want to talk about, is the meaning that we attach to things. Now, I have a quote, and I chose this quote when I was thinking about going a different way with this episode, but I'm still going to give you this quote, and still let's talk about it a little bit. If we are not ashamed to think it, we should not be ashamed to say it, by Marcus Tullius Cicero. If we are not ashamed to think it, we should not be ashamed to say it, by Marcus Tullius Cicero. And I pretty much agree with this. I've gone again and again, especially in relationships, saying that if you can't communicate, you don't have a relationship, and this is true. But I've also said there's times that you cannot necessarily say everything that's going on in your head because it's only going to get you into trouble. So which one is it? Should you always say everything no matter what? Or are there times that loose lips sink ships? And the answer is, there's times that you really should keep your mouth shut. There just are. At least if there's something that you need to communicate. See, what Cicero is saying is we should not be ashamed to say it. And you shouldn't be ashamed to say it, but sometimes you should choose not to say it. Or at least decide the right place and the right time to say it, and how you're going to frame it. Which this is what I want to talk about actually, is framing and reframing messages. Now, let me give you an example. We do this all the time. When I say, "You're great," and "I love you," what do you think? It may make you feel good. It may make you feel bad. You may have heard it so many times it has no effect on you anymore. You may think I don't really mean it because I don't know you. Or it might be one of the high points of your day and you're going to rewind it over and over again. So if you were going to rewind it to watch, let me just say one more time. You're great and I love you. But here's the thing. You have a way that you're interpreting those words from me. Just like you have a way that you're interpreting everything that happens to you. Remember, we've said before, it's not what happens to you that matters. It's what you make what happened to you mean that matters. Right? Now, you've chosen to accept the fact that I'm saying these words to you as that I really care about you, which you know I do, and they make you feel good about yourself. Or maybe you've chosen not to accept these words. Maybe when you hear them, they actually make you feel bad about you because you don't believe that anybody could possibly love you. But what does this all have in common? I said what I said, and one person is going to interpret it one way and another person is going to interpret it a completely different way. Does that make sense? Remember, we talked about in the personality stuff that some people see things, visually, auditory, kinesthetic, auditory, digital. That people genuinely have different ways of accessing reality. Okay? And that two people can be exposed to the exact same thing. And take vastly different meanings and interpretations from it. Because you've got your own personality type, you've got your own history, your own conditioning, and just what's going on with you that day. Like, say, for instance, if you bring a box of puppies up to play with, right? And I look and I'm like, oh wow, puppies, you know, and I'm ready to play with the puppies. And then somebody else sees them and they had a dog that looked just like one of these puppies and that dog is dead and they break down into tears, right? It's two different things based on our histories. Or say you show up with this box of puppies and right before you show me the puppies, you just hit me in the face. Bam! And then you're like, hey, puppies. What do you think my reaction's gonna be? You know? I'm gonna be like, what you hit me for? Right? That's what I'm going to respond to. The fact is the puppies have not changed. I changed. And my environment changed and my response to the environment changed. You understand what I'm saying? So you can use this to your own advantage through a process called reframing. This is especially true if you're the type of person that you get really aggressive when you're driving. Like if somebody cuts you off or rides your bumper or something, like you get really mad about this. I live in LA and before this I lived in Atlanta, so like nothing that can happen on the road shocks me anymore. Like it elicits zero emotional response from me. Whatever people do. They're like chum 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 driving. So I'm like, fine, let's do it then. But say somebody speeds up and cuts you off, right? Are you the type of person that you'll be like, yell and scream and honk and flip them off and stuff, or God forbid, speed up and try and cut them off again? My question is, why? No, I know you said it's because they cut me off, but why does that matter? Why is that important? Okay, yeah, they're a jerk, I know, but why? Well, you feel insulted. But here's the thing. Why do you feel insulted? Think about this. What actually happened when you step back from it? What actually happened? What actually happened is somebody got in front of you on the road, closer than you would like them to. But that's what happened. You know, you can make it mean all these other things. You can make it mean that they're a jerk, that they're terrible, they're a horrible driver, we could have been killed, it was reckless, it was stupid, blah, blah, blah. You can, all of that stuff you can make it mean, but none of that changes what actually happened. What's actually so. And what's actually so is this person got in front of you on the road. And that's all. You understand? But let's say, what if you found out that that person cut you off because they were racing to the hospital because their mother's in intensive care? What if they just found out that their wife has gone into early labor and they got to get to the hospital to make sure that she and the new baby are okay? Well, it doesn't bother you so much anymore now, does it? Because you've attached a different meaning to it. But here's the thing. It's up to you what meaning you attach to things all the time. All the time. Anything you're confronted with, it is up to you to decide what meaning you are going to attach to this event. You step back from it and you look at it and you see what's so. What's actually happening. And then you form your decision. Now, I would say in a perfect world, you always see it, for what it is and you react accordingly. But the fact is, only monks and Tibetan lamas can do that. I like to think I'm pretty good at dealing with things how they are. But hey, man, I got my filters. I delete, distort, and generalize just like everybody. The only difference between me and most people is that I'm aware of the fact that I delete, distort, and generalize, and try and react accordingly. So, what I mean is, if somebody says or does something that really bothers you, stop and ask yourself, well, why did they do this? Why did they say this? Right? That's the first thing. And what are other possible reasons they could have had? Make up new reasons for why they did it. The guy in front of you didn't hold the door when he walked in. Maybe he's a jerk. Maybe he's a jerk. But maybe he didn't see you there. Maybe he's from a country where they don't hold doors for people. It's true. It's possible. You make it mean what you think it means, but there's actually a deeper secret to this even still, beyond understanding why people do what they do, that I'm going to share here in part 2. So I'm going to split this for my brothers and sisters on YouTube. Everybody else stay with me.